What is up, TubeTech students? Diddles here, and today I am bringing the promised r/entitled parents video. Now, we got some pretty positive reviews on the last video, so what do you say we aim for the same thing this time? At 2 days past my due date, I shouldn't have used the expectant mothers/parents with small children parking spot. My pregnancy was okay up until the last month. It was 95 degrees outside, I was retaining so much water, my sandals hardly fit onto the biggest setting, and I was constantly in pain. It sucked. I run, or waddle, to the store for a couple last minute things for baby, and I was so relieved that there was a parking spot for pregos and parents near the entrance. I pulled in and took a few moments to chug water and gather my things when I noticed the car pull up to my left. They were half in the handicap parking stall and yelling something out the window. I rolled my window down and hear, "You shouldn't be in that spot, you don't have kids. My son shouldn't have to walk from the back of the parking lot," or something to that effect. I was a little stunned to be yelled at, to be honest. I calmly told her that I was very pregnant and this stall was for the pregnant woman too. She kept talking to her son, but at me, you know what I mean? "Sorry son, you have to walk in the heat because this lady parked in our spot." So I opened my door and hoisted my giant land whale-esque body out of my car. She was still turned around, talking to her son, when she finally saw me. I was about 3 feet away from her window. I bent down, I tilted my head down, and said, "Do you see how pregnant I am? I think you and your son will be okay walking." And then I saw the son. He was like 7? The kid can walk. She just sighed and drove away. I was so angry. I wish I had said more to her. Are you even still classified as a small child when you're 7? You should be in like 3rd or 2nd grade. I honestly don't know. You're no longer a small child. You were just straight up a child. Or if you don't get your... Ooh. Can't say that on this family-friendly channel. Entitled parent tries to steal my baby. Okay, well, she didn't try to steal him, per se. I see. We're just starting our relationship and you're already lying to me. I can't believe you would do this. So, I'm a 19-year-old girl and I have a 7-month-old son. Not uncommon, but he still usually gets mistaken for my brother/child I'm babysitting. I took him to a soft play area nearby on my own and we were having a great time. He was playing with the blocks and just having fun. A woman came in who had 2 girls around 6 or 8 and sat near me and my son. It's at this point my son starts to cry, he was hungry, and the EM turns to me and asks if his mom is around. To which I tell her that I am his mom. Why am I actually saying mom? She looks shocked and then says, "Do you know what's wrong with him?" Well, yeah. Well, you know what? That word looks a lot like well. Yes, he'll be hungry. "Do you know how to feed him?" I was completely shocked by this because even if I was babysitting, I would know how to feed him. Plus, he's 7 months years old. 7 months years old. Yes. Plus, he's 7 months years old. 7 months year old. 7 months old. There is no word year. Plus, he's 7 months old, so I think I would have fed him at least once before. I didn't say anything and just pulled out his bottle and fed him in my arms. Since there were a lot of things going on around us, he was very distracted and would move away from the bottle to look at something and then cry because he had no bottle. Very frustrating. Ian then says, "I can feed him for you." At this point, I'm just screaming "what the heck" repeatedly in my head. I politely declined and told her I know what he likes. She then starts to get a bit aggressive, saying I'm too young to look after him and I clearly can't cope being a single mother. I'm not single, but my boyfriend was at work. I couldn't believe what she was saying and got ready to leave. I picked my baby up and put him in the pram. He was screaming as his feed had now been disturbed. I gathered our things that were on the floor right by the pram, and as I turned around, the woman was unstrapping my son in an attempt to take him out. I full-on screamed at her to stop, and an employee saw what was happening and ran over immediately and asked her to leave. She refused as her 2 kids were playing and she didn't want to stop them. I said it was fine and I'd leave instead as I just wanted to go home again. I was so incredibly scared of what could have happened even though I'm fairly sure she just wanted to help. I haven't been back there since. TLDR, baby was being fussy at soft play area. EM wanted to feed him because I'm too young to know what to do, said no, she got abusive. I put my son in the pram and then bent down to gather our things to find her unstrapping him. "Hey, do you need any help feeding your baby?" "Oh no, I think we're gonna be fine. Thank you for the offer. What are you doing?" "Well, you obviously said yes, so I'm taking the baby to feed him." and probably take him home. I need another child, but my husband ain't working out. I'm gonna stop ad-libbing now. Next story, please. Entitled parent defends her son being pervy in a swimming changing room. So, you all know how this works. I'm a teenage girl and I was 14 at the time of this story. I go to a fun session at the local pool very often. It's basically a public swim with an inflatable thingy at the top of the deep end for people to play on. The changing rooms are 2 separate rooms, one for men and one for women. There's a small section of showers and the rest are cubicles with curtains instead of doors for changing in. After getting changed, it's required that you leave the curtain open so that people know it's vacant. Often there are young boys in the women's changing room because mothers can't go into the men's with their sons, but under 13s can't go alone. One particularly my mortal enemy, particularly. One particularly busy day, my mother and I were changing on completely different sides of the room, and I was just about to take off my shirt when a hand grabbed my curtain and attempts to pull it open. I yelped slightly and grabbed the curtain, pulling it back to see who was doing this. A kid who looked like he was old enough to be alone in the men's, but younger than me, was there. I frown as I worry about being watched while getting changed a little too much. Reading stories about cameras and double-sided mirrors in dressing rooms and stores, etc. And say in a fairly loud and stern voice, "If the curtain is closed, it's being used. I'm changing here, don't try to come in." Before semi-violently closing the curtain. I was in my bra and leggings when I noticed a hand closer to the bottom of the curtains. In hindsight, he was probably doing this to seem less noticeable. I jumped down and grabbed the entitled kid's hand, pushing him away, while trying to hide the fact I was in my bra by using the other hand to hold the curtain. Now extremely frustrated, I yelled, "Go away! I'm in here!" After a second or two, I grab my towel and cover up, waiting for the kid to try again. After a couple minutes, I decide that it's stupid to waste my time and continue to change, surprisingly enough, uninterrupted by the entitled kid. I walked out of my swimsuit and sat on a small waiting bench near the door to the pool, as this particular place waited until most people had finished changing to let us in. After a while, entitled kid and his mom come over in swimsuits sitting down next to me. I felt uncomfortable, sure, but entitled parent was between him and I, so not much could happen. Right? Well, no. Because while I was watching the curtain of my mom's cubicle for her to come out, I felt a hand on my chest. I slap it away, and this is what follows. "What the heck do you think you're doing, you creep?" "Excuse me? What did you just call my son?" "He was trying to open my curtain when I was changing earlier, and you can't tell me you didn't see him lean across you to grab my chest just now. The least he deserves is to be called a dang creep." "He was just playing around. He's a little kid. How dare you try to discipline him?" "A little kid? He looks like he could be using the men's by now. How old is he?" "He's 13. Not like I need to explain that to you. Or do I, considering how stupid and dramatic you're acting? If he's 13, then he should be in the men's. Besides, I'm 14, and I know how to respect people. He should too." "I'm his mother. I know better than you that he cannot be alone in the men's changing rooms." Turning to her son. "Did you try to open her curtain and touch her, sweetie?" "No! Ew!" Back to me. "See? Stop lying for attention." Yelling now. "You've gotta be kidding me. You sat there while he leaned over you to touch my chest." At this point, my mom was walking over, confused. "How dare you yell at me? I am an adult woman. You should respect your elders. Haven't your parents or teachers told you this yet? Well, maybe you and your kids' teacher should should tell him not to try to grab my chest." Now my mom was here, and very angry. "Is this true?" "Oh, you're her mother. Well, teach her some manners. She's got a crush on my son and is pretending that he was touching her." I know, 100%, that's a lie. My daughter has a boyfriend, so there's no way she could like him. Not to mention, she's not some kind of pathological liar, unlike you. I hate to break it to you, but he's not some kind of perfect little angel. "Ugh! How dare you!" Continues into tangent about parenting and her perfect son. My mother motioned for me to follow her, and we left the changing rooms and asked the receptionist for some help. They both got kicked out and had some kind of ban applied to the both of them. I'm not sure if it was permanent or not, but nothing special happened apart from that. I wish I'd called the police about it or something, but then again, he was just 13 years old, so I don't know if much could have been done about that. See, I don't understand what this child's plan was. So he goes in the women's dressing room, and he's like, "Oh boy, time to see some naked girls." So then he goes over And after he gets caught trying to open the curtain, he's like, man, so close. Let's try again from the bottom. And then he gets caught again. And then while he's sitting on the bench with this girl, he's like, so my plan to see her naked didn't work. Let's just molest her. You know, I really shouldn't say these things because once they get on the internet, people can use my sound bites to do terrible things to me. And that is going to do it for r/entitled_parents. I hope you all enjoyed this video. If you did, why not leave a comment, like, and share with your friends. Make sure you're here on Wednesday when we go through r/malicious appliance. So with that being said, class is dismissed, and don't forget to submit your upload schedules. Later, guys.